Everything you hear about Delaware is that it's such a cost-effective place to live, and it's so much cheaper to live here than in any of our surrounding states. But is that really the truth? Before diving into the content, my name is Matt Lunden. I'm a local real estate agent here in Coastal Delaware, and I put out content each and every week discussing life here in Coastal Delaware. If that's something that you would like to see some more of, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. And then if you're someone that's looking to buy or sell real estate here in Coastal Delaware, that's what we help you with every single day. And we would love the opportunity to work with you. So all my information is going to be down below in the description and here on the screen. We absolutely love hearing from you guys here on the channel, so don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's dive back in. The vast majority of people looking to move to Delaware are doing so because it's a lot more cost-effective place to live than their current state. However, that's not really the full picture. There are some things that are going to be more expensive here in Delaware than other areas. So let's take a dive into exactly what those items are, what it may look like from a purchase standpoint, and how that may impact you. Before we get into the negative side of things and look at things that are definitely more expensive here in Delaware than our neighboring states, let's just discuss some things that are beneficial for those of you that are looking to move to the area. Number one, and probably the largest reason why people move here, property taxes. Our property taxes are among the lowest in the country, which is fantastic. You know, our neighboring states are certainly not the same way. So anybody that's looking to come here from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, you're likely going to save a good deal of money on your property taxes. Here in Coastal Delaware, the average home is seeing an annual property tax bill of somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,500. A lot of times when I tell our clients or prospective clients from New York, certain areas of New York and certain areas of New Jersey, that number, they think it's the monthly number. It's certainly not. It is the yearly number. And while we're currently undergoing a full reassessment of the entire state, it's not going to change too many properties a whole bunch. I went and showed a property just last week. It's on the market for $1.9 million, and that person has only been paying $400 a year in property taxes. So those are the people that are going to see the big impact. The typical average home here is not going to see too big of a swing either one way or the other, up or down. The second item that you don't really consider here in Delaware, and we don't really even think about it because it's just the way life is, but there's no sales tax here. So it's kind of the unsung hero of tax savings in Delaware. Once you're, here for a while, you don't even really consider it much. But a lot of our surrounding states have 5, 6, 7, 8%, some even more than that sales tax. Where here in Delaware, we have 0. So you don't really feel it on your everyday transactions. Say you go get a coffee or you get a bite to eat for breakfast. You don't really feel the sales tax on any of those items, but you start adding that up, the course of a year or longer, and those small transactions really start to compound and make a big difference in your life. And then if you go to buy a big ticket item, those items aren't taxed either. So if you go to buy like a TV or a refrigerator or something like that, that's $1,000 or a couple $1,000 expense, you're not paying sales tax on top of that. So you're saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So it is a nice perk here. We're not going to dive too deep into some of the other benefits that we have for retirees and seniors here, but there is a little bit of a tax break on your pension. Once you've reached a certain age and a certain number of years living here, you also get a reduction in the amount of school tax you pay, which our school taxes are built into our property taxes, and they're all paid as one bill. So that $1,500 to $2,500, that's inclusive of your school tax. And I know that in some of our neighboring states, it is certainly not that way. I was talking to a couple today, and their property tax is up around $18,000 a year. So it's nice to know that when you come here to Delaware, you do get a little bit of a reprieve there, and you're not spending every dollar you make on your property taxes each and every year. As we mentioned at the start of the video, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Every single place that you look at has some negatives to it, and Delaware is no different. It's not an outlier by any means. We certainly have some things here that are more expensive than our neighboring states, and things that you need to consider and calculate into your budget when you are making a purchase or looking to move here to Coastal Delaware or just Delaware in general. The biggest culprit of them all are transfer tax. In Delaware, every single transaction of real estate that takes place is subject to a 4% transfer tax. That is 4% of the total purchase price of the property is paid back as a tax at the time of settlement. So that is typically split between buyer and seller, so they each contribute 2% to the transfer tax. However, if you're looking at buying new construction, many of the builders in the state stick the buyer with the entire 4%. So that can be pretty pricey. Say you're buying a $550,000 home, That's an additional $22,000 that you'll have to bring to the table in cash if you're stuck with the entire 4%. If you're stuck with only half of that because, the buyers or the sellers paying the other half, that's still $11,000 in closing costs mixed in with all of the other closing costs that you're going to have to pay. So our closing costs here in Delaware are definitely some of the higher ones in the area. And as we always say, it's really inexpensive to stay here, but it's really expensive to come and go. So if you're somebody that is looking to buy and sell real estate a number of different times, those closing costs can add up. But if you're looking to buy something, hang out here for a little while, then maybe sell 10, 15 years down the road, all of that savings gets built in and you're ultimately going to be spending less on your property-related costs. Number 2 on the list of things that is more expensive here than in other places is going to be the cost of real estate. Now, I'm not just saying that there's no other place that's more expensive to buy, but in our coastal markets, the price of real estate is certainly higher than the remainder of the state. And I understand there's going to be sections of every state that's more expensive than here, but our real estate here in coastal Delaware does tend to be on the higher price point side. So for those of you that are looking for affordable living options from other states, we don't typically have a whole lot of those. If you're looking to spend less than $400,000, you're probably going to be in a condo if you would like to be in one of the coastal markets. Once you get up into the 500 to 550 range, that's when you can start to look into some detached homes instead of townhomes or condos. So if you're looking for a detached home, you're likely going to have to spend at least $500, if not a little bit more, to get in close to the beaches. If you're okay with being a little bit removed from the beaches, you can certainly find stuff for less, but they're not making any more coastlines. So until they do, those prices in the coastal towns just continue to go up. And once you get into the downtown areas, if you're looking for a detached home, you're likely not going to find anything less than $1 million at this point. It is pretty much all trended to that point. Another item that we have found to be more expensive here than many other places is our HOA costs. So most of our newer homes, so built within the last 15 years, they've all been built in HOA communities. And those HOA fees can get pretty pricey. They typically start at about $150 a month. There are a few throughout the area that may be slightly less than that, but they typically start at about $150 a month, and they go up all the way $500 to $600 a month. That's not a small amount of change, and it can certainly eat into your budget. So it's just something to consider. Now, most of those communities do have a number of amenities: lawn mowing, snow removal, fitness centers, clubhouses, pools, that kind of stuff. But if you're not someone that is used to being in an HOA, cost of the HOA is definitely something that you're going to want to keep in mind, because a lot of times when you're looking at your pre-approval letter and what your lender says your monthly payment's going to be at certain dollar amounts, they're not necessarily calculating in that HOA amount. So just make sure that you are aware of how much you're going to be spending on your HOA if you are buying into an HOA community, just so you have the full affordability picture, so you truly know what the cost of that home will be on a monthly basis, to know that you can either A, afford it, or B, not afford it. And you're not overstretching yourself just because that HOA payment is a little bit higher. I know that I've talked to some other agents in some other areas, and their HOA payments are typically less than what we see here. I'm not sure the reason behind that, but it is just part of the process of buying in an HOA, and just another cost that we see here in Delaware that tends to be pricier than other places. The final item that I tend to see here in Delaware that's pricier than some of our surrounding states, and I'm not sure necessarily why this is, but our gas tends to be more expensive, typically about 10 to 15 cents higher in price here in Delaware than I've seen in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New Jersey. Probably because we're a popular tourist destination, so we have a ton of people traveling here. So the gas stations and gas companies know that they can get away with it a little bit. It just is what it is, and I figured that I would point it out to you guys just so you have the full picture when you're considering all the factors of living here. That's going to do it for our video on the cost of living and the hidden costs of moving here to Delaware. Again, it's not always going to be cheaper here than other places, but it certainly is, in a lot of cases, a lot more cost effective to live here than in any of our surrounding states. So if you're in one of our surrounding states, more than likely you will see some savings over the long run of being here in Delaware. But if you're someone that is in a very low cost place living now, we may not be lower than what they are. Make sure you understand the full picture of your budget and what it may look like when you relocate here to Delaware. Again, if you are looking for more information on Delaware and what it's like to live here, eat here, breathe here, sleep here, play here, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're someone that's looking to buy or sell real estate, again, here in coastal Delaware, that's what we help you with every single day. And we love hearing from you guys here on the channel, so don't hesitate to reach out. We absolutely love helping all you guys here on the channel and hearing from you in person. So all my information, again, it's down below in the description and it's here on the screen. Don't hesitate to reach out, and we hope to see you guys next time. Peace.